Hello Flosstube, and welcome to Homesteading on the Home Front. Long time no see. It has been 7 months since I sat down and made a video last. I never intended it to be that long. I never intended to disappear. Just life. So I have a lot to talk about today, a lot to show you. Some of it you might have seen before, but it's been so long I can't remember. So I'm just gonna get on into it. I'm gonna cover as much as I can, and then if I have to save some for later, I will. For those of you new to my channel, I am not a new floss tuber, but welcome. Yeah, out of practice. All right, here we go. So Labor Day weekend is always our local fair, and little one and I had some entries. Usually you were only allowed to enter projects that were finished within the last year, but because the fair was canceled last year, they allowed us to enter 2 years worth of projects. And so we entered. Entries as a whole were down. Every department was down. I am the new co-superintendent of the floral department at the fair, and our entries were less than half of what they normally are. The veggies and fruits were less than half of what they normally were, partly because it was a terrible gardening year, and partly, I'm sure, because when it came time to register to enter items, people just didn't know what was going on with COVID, or they knew they didn't want to go or whatever. But it was fun anyway, and I am going to start you off with Little One's items. If you are new here, Little One is my youngest daughter, who is not so young anymore. When we first started this channel, she was, but she just started sophomore year in high school. So these are her things. First of all, and I didn't bring out any of the charts. I don't know where half of them are, so I'm just going to tell you what they are. This is from Sweet Land of Liberty, Blackbird Designs. She started this one as a stitch along at the first Frugal Yankee retreat that we had in March of 2019. And she finished it up. She did not use called for colors. We made substitutions. I don't remember what they are. And we got it framed in this shadow box. And she earned herself a blue ribbon. I should also say that the way our fair does things is they use the Danish judging system, which means that your items are basically being judged against an ideal, not the other participants. There's one special contest where it's a straight first, second, third place, but everything else, if you deserve a first place, you're going to get a first place no matter how many other first places there are. All right. So this one is also Little One's. It's a Lizzie Kate. She finished this up a while ago, and a week before the fair, my husband cut the board, painted it, and we got it finished for her to enter. Also earned a first place. This next one was a pattern gifted to her from Helen D, because she loves watermelons. And when we were at StitchCon, Sue Hillis signed the pattern, because it's a Sue Hillis design. Here are her watermelons. I think you've seen this one before. I think I've shown it. We mounted it on the back of a cheese board that's missing some tiles. Nobody knows. And this one earned a second place because they wrote on the back that the threads are visible through the cloth. So fair enough, they were. It was white linen she stitched that on, and dark threads. All right, so next we have her Christmas ornaments, which again you might have seen, but they were not FFO'd because they didn't get FFO'd until the week before the fair. We had 2 years. So, as you can see, she got a first. This was the Brenda Gervais freebie through Christmas COVID that everyone did. And so she got a first place on that one. And then this one, not sure if it's a Little House or a Country Cottage Needleworks, but she got a first place on that one as well. So she cleaned house, did well, excited. This was her first year that she could enter in the adult division. So she was happy to be competing against adults, and also happy because her premiums increased from $1 or $2 up to $6 or $7. Our fair does pay rewards or premiums depending on first, second, or third place, and so she counted up her earnings and decided that's what her budget was for fair food. So I thought that was fair. All right, so on to my projects. The first one you've seen, but not in this form. I FFO'd this one a while ago and made it into a wreath with the bow. The bow needs some floofing, but it is what it is. So this is a Brenda Gervais. I changed the wording to say, "Welcome to our nest where hearts rest." I think the original said bird's nest, or I don't know. Anyway, I got first place. Okay, I'm gonna have to go reaching. I'm gonna push you back. The next one you might have seen. Did a little something different. Got me a first place. This is Horse Country Holiday. My own conversion. My eldest daughter, who we affectionately refer to as eldest here on the channel, is a horseback rider, and so she loves brown horses. There's a word for it. I don't know what the word is, but I changed the horse to brown. And I used an old boot to poke some picks into. I wanted to do something different because most of the other entries at the fair are usually just frames. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I want to show people that you can do more with stitching. This one you've seen. First place. Oh, the designer on this one. Janine. Is that her name? I'm forgetting. If you want to know what this is, let me know and I'll look it up. But I think most of you know the bees. She did the quilting bee too, which I haven't stitched yet. This tray was given to me on our way out to StitchCon. We stopped and visited my husband's god aunt and uncle, and she had the tray for stitching and isn't stitching anymore, so she gave it to me. And then when I saw this pattern came out, I knew that it was going to look fantastic, and so I get to think about Judy whenever I display that one. This one is, oh gosh, it's on the tip of my tongue. I don't know. Again, if you want to know who the designer is, let me know and I will look it up for you. I do know that I added in this last row here. The original design ended here, and I wanted it to fit in 8 by 10. So I added in the bottom row. I love the colors, my own conversion, but I think they're pretty close to called for. And first place. This one, take some tape off. For those of you who are new to my channel, when I hit 3,000 subscribers, my gift to everyone was a sampler chart that I had purchased the old sampler. There was no date on it. I'm thinking 1830s, 1840s, but I don't know. Jessie Robinson was the name of the stitcher. I tried so hard to find her on Ancestry so that I could tell her story, but because there was no date on it, it was not possible to find out who she was. I know it's a Scottish sampler because it was stitched in the reds and the greens. But anyway, when I stitched the sampler, I made it my own as a tribute to the Scottish side of my family, which is Armstrong. And these are, starting with my parents, these are my ancestors on that side of the family, going back 10, well, yeah, I forget how many generations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 generations of ancestors. And then I have all of the initials of my mother's siblings, so my aunts and uncles. And then I have all of the initials of my cousins, including mine and my brother's, and then my children's initials. Okay, so that means there's 10, 11, 12 generations of initials on this sampler. And first place, this one is special to me. And then, in order to kind of match, I'm all hung up down here, I did a stitch along with Kim Goldman of this one. I don't even remember the name of the original sampler. Is this awful? Janet Richardson? Might be Janet Richardson. So I stitched it in the same colors that I used here as a tribute to one of my grandfather's aunts. She was a twin. There was Laura Beckley and Laura Charter. They were twins. They were very, very good to my my mother and her siblings as they were growing up. And I wanted to do a tribute so that they would be included on the Armstrong wall. And so this is Laura's. I've got Laura's ready to go. I don't know when I'll be stitching it, but it's going to be in these same colors. I'm not sure about the size. I wasn't really worried about the size, if it was going to be the same size or not. But you can see, obviously, this is a Scottish sampler as well. It's got the reds and the greens. It's got the peacocks and lots of alphabets. These initials here, this is my great-great-grandfather, my great-great-grandmother, my great-grandfather, and her twin sister, Laura Charter. So that was the first place too. This one, I felt like it was forever ago that I stitched it. In fact, when it came time for me to enter stuff in the fair, I went back out and got my cross-stitch journal, and I'm so glad I did, because I totally would have forgotten that I had stitched this within the time frame that was allowed. So this is another Brenda Gervais. I did make some changes so that it would fit into the frame. If I'm remembering correctly, it was something with this bottom border. I changed the bird so that it would be symmetrical, because that's how I roll. And got a first place on this one too. All right, we're getting there. This was originally entitled Nantucket. I changed it to Newport. For those of you who are new here, my husband retired last year after 21 years in the Navy. He started his career in Newport, Rhode Island, where we met. He ended his career in Newport, Rhode Island. And so Newport is a special place to us. And the architecture is obviously very similar to Nantucket, so it looks just like a house in downtown Newport. So again, I made some changes to this so that it would fit in a standard size frame. But I got a first. And now that I've shown you, I can hang it back up on my kitchen wall because I've been missing it. All right, one more, well, 4 more, but 1 more you'll see. All right, ready? This one, I don't think you have seen. I might have FO'd it, but I do not think you've seen it FFO'd. So this, oh gosh, I don't even remember the name of it. It was released by Lucy Beam in January, and I fell in love with the colors, and I knew that I wanted to stitch it, and so stitch it I did. I found the frame at Hobby Lobby. It looks amazing with it. I customized it in honor of my great-grandmother, Augusta Osterlund, who came over on the SS Cephalonia from Sweden, and I wanted this to be a tribute to her. So I made the crowns in Swedish colors and the flower, or the cherries or fruit, in red, white, and blue. And for those who haven't seen this sampler before, it says, "Dark the night and wild the wave, Christ the boat is keeping. Trust in him and have no fear, though he seemeth sleeping." And "Though he seemeth sleeping" is the name of the pattern, I think. Maybe not. Maybe it's the original stitcher, but I forget who that was. I did make some changes here, again, so that it would fit in a standard size frame, but I love this piece. It's, I hope it becomes a family heirloom and doesn't end up at the thrift store. But I love the colors. They're not me. Usually I don't stitch this bright, but this was a joy to stitch. I highly recommend it. I said when it came out that it needed to be talked about more. More people needed to stitch it because it was a gorgeous sampler, and I stand by that. All right, so now the fun begins. So, hold on. Every year, the fair has a special contest, and it's a theme for the handwork department, meaning cross-stitch, crochet, sewing, knitting, anything, any handwork at all can enter. And the theme in 2020 was going to be down on the farm. And so I knew immediately that I was going to stitch Scenic Farm. Thankfully, they kept that theme when 2020 was canceled. They rolled it over into 2020, and this is my Scenic Farm. I stitched it on the Ada and, you know, everything that came for in the kit. I got the frame specially made on Etsy. If you would like the information on the store who made me the frame, feel free to ask and I'll look it up for you. And after several years of trying to win the special contest, first place, baby! So that ribbon is going to stay up for a while because I'm really excited about that. I love how this one came out. Again, I'm excited now that I've shown you to be able to put it back up because it's staying up year round in my house. I just love it too much. Okay, so that was the special contest. Then we have this one. Do I remember the name of the pattern? No. I think it's Bygone Stitches One Nation. It's One Nation is the name of the pattern. This is as small as I could possibly make it. It's on 20 count vintage country mocha. It's on a frame. It's not even a frame. It's a chalkboard that I got at Hobby Lobby, and I painted the chalkboard blue. And I got a first place on it. But I also got Superintendent's Award. So basically what happens is the superintendents of the department give themselves, they don't judge. Superintendents at the fair don't judge. There are other people who do the judging, but superintendents give these ribbons to a couple of their favorite pieces. And so One Nation got the Superintendent's Award. And then, this is it. This is the last fair one. Saved the best for last, I think. You definitely have not seen this one FFO'd because I FFO'd it 4 days before the fair. I had 2 years. Da, 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 da. Savior's Praise. Again, I made some modifications because I bought this frame for $3 at a yard sale and I wanted it to fit because it would have cost me hundreds to have it framed otherwise. I changed the hymn to our wedding hymn. The initials around the basket are all of my bridesmaids and groomsmen. And I absolutely love how this one came out. I did get a first place. But it also took home Best of Show. Now, I thought at the time that this was my first Best of Show. Meaning, out of all of the cross-stitch entries, this one they liked the best. I had forgotten that in 2019, when I entered Sparrow, that got Best of Show. So, repeat Best of Show, which I was a little excited about. It makes me want to go for 3 years in a row. Is that too selfish? I don't know. But this year it was the trifecta of pretty ribbons. I got all 3 pretty ribbons that the fair gives out, and I was really thrilled about that. I don't enter for the ribbons. I enter because I want to inspire other people to get into our hobby. But the ribbons are fun. So, let's talk about my plans. The first one you knew I started. I haven't even unrolled these. The first one was a New Year's Day start in 2021 that I worked on, or I started with several of the Frugal Yankee Stitchers. Kat has finished hers already. I have not. This is going to be And They Sinned. It's as far as I've gotten. I am not stitching the bottom part with all of the animals. And the reason for that is I already have the frame for this and I'm making it fit because this is another one that would cost lots of money to have professionally framed. I think this is the 3rd Best in Show. Maybe. I'm hoping. It's still going to be 3 feet long when it's done. It's going to be quite the impressive piece. I'm also stitching it on 20 count, I think sand. It's not vintage country mocha, but I think it's sand. Mostly my own color conversion using what I had in my stash. Haven't worked on that one in a long time, but if If I'm going to get it done for next year, I need to get at it. And then this one I started in May at the retreat we had at East Hill. There was just a small gathering of us there that got together to stitch. So I started it in May and I'm almost done. I just have to do some more flowers in the border. I have to put the date in. There's something else I have to do and I forget what it is. But this one is the Pink Sparrow sampler. Again, absolutely my own color conversion. I think I came really close though. I'm really, really happy with this conversion. And then my third whip, I just started on Labor Day. So the special contest theme for next year's fair is Garden Party. And so I put it up on the Frugal Yankee page to ask the stitchers, which should I do? Should I do the Dimensions kit with all of the glass jars and the flowers coming out? Or should I do this one by Blackbird Designs? Now Barb had just passed, and so of course everyone said Blackbird Designs, which was fine by me. I had first seen this done at Frugal Yankee in 2019. Steph was working on it. It was absolutely stunning. So as soon as these patterns were re-released, I jumped on them. I actually am doing mostly called for colors here. I didn't want to mess it up. I wanted it to be as stunning as Steph's was. I'm stitching it on Vintage Country Mocha. And it's going really fast. Couple days worth of stitching, really. All right, one more FFO. I finished this and just popped it in the frame. This is Blue Skin by Plum Street Samplers. It's missing the tree, the cherry tree, and it's missing George Washington. I just wanted a patriotic piece that was very simple, and so I just did the horse. 7 months worth of stitching, people. All right, let's talk about life updates really quick. I have 2.5 minutes. Eldest broke her ankle in March. Her horse spooked. Needed surgery. Got through it fine. She's still riding. We have a horse show tomorrow. She just started her senior year of high school. Looks like she's going to be applying to UConn and WPI and Cornell. I think UConn is going to be where she goes. Little one, people, starts driving this week. Enough said. I finished out last year with another long-term sub position. So I started in April and went through the end of the school year to cover for one of the math teachers at the high school who was out on maternity leave. Now I knew myself, I knew it was garden season. I said I cannot do full time. So I agreed to do half days and it was fantastic. I loved it. If I could teach half days all the time, I might go back to teaching. But with that being said, my newest endeavor, which some of you know about and some of you don't, is that I officially made Armstrong Acres a thing. I am selling bouquets. I opened up for flower subscriptions and I've had a ball doing that this summer and I'm going to be expanding next year. So if you are interested, I am on Instagram as Armstrong Acres MA. So you can give me a follow and see my pretty flowers. Since February, Hobby got his dream job. He's working from home, which is why I haven't been able to film. He took the kids to go see the new Marvel movie today, so I said I'm filming. Anyway, got a great job working from home, consulting the Canadian Navy on Navy facilities. So, the camera's going to shut off in 20 seconds. I will be back. It will be less than 7 months next time. I promise. Bye, everyone.